As a small business owner, you deserve more. More confidence, more connectivity, more of the tools that help your business thrive. And at Cox Business, you can expect more from us. We don't just have sales reps. We have perfect plan identifiers. People who will work with you to make sure your business gets everything it needs and nothing that it doesn't. Your business deserves more, and that's why you can expect more from Cox Business. Call 800-526-8572 to switch today.
There's nothing more predictable in life than the unexpected. Lightning will always strike. Hail will fall on roofs. Fortunately, there's AAA. AAA has been helping members stay prepared for over 100 years. So when unusual storms, fallen debris, or sudden leaks happen, you'll be covered. Check, check, and check. Get the home and auto insurance you need by talking with a AAA insurance agent today. Visit AAA.com/insurance or stop by your local AAA store.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. That's why you can have a savory sausage biscuit with delicious hash browns for only $1.50. It's time to wake up breakfast. Single item at regular price. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome. But with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of He Said, She Said. I am your co-host, Aggie, and with me is my other half, Mickey. How are you doing?
I am doing good and coming at you live from Martha Stewart's underwear drawer this evening. How are you?
I don't even want to envision that. Oh, my God.
Just say I'm a little surprised about what I'm finding in here.
I don't want to know. I really do not want to know.
I could spend a month in here.
Please don't. Escape with all impunity.
My most favorite part of our show is our awkward first minute. It's the best.
Because you always throw me something, and I'm like, oh, shit, what now? Like, I don't know how to act.
Well, how have you been? It's been a while.
Oh, my goodness. It's been good. It's been good. I have been very industrious. I am organizing my upstairs craft area, and I have found some really interesting things. I used to do a lot of scrapbooking, so I have a ton of scrapbook paper and cardstock and embellishments. I must own at least 25 different types of glue, and I mean, it's just everywhere. But the most interesting thing was I found some Lego sets I had forgotten I owned. So this was like Christmas for me.
What? So are you a Lego fan?
I'm a big Lego fan.
Get out of town. I am a huge Lego fan.
Oh, serious?
Like, you know, when people talk about like shopping therapy, like if I'm feeling depressed about something or just a little bummed out, sometimes I'll just go buy like a box of Legos. And I won't tell anybody, and I'll just like build it at home. You know, that's one of my favorite things to do that cheers me up. How can you be sad building Legos?
You can't. You can't. And it's funny because I don't know if you recall, but several months ago they came out with the lunar module, the lunar lander, right?
Ooh, I did not.
Oh yeah. And my my dad used to work for NASA, and he was the one that called me up and told me that they were coming out with this. I didn't know, but he knew before I did. I was like, this is not fair. But so I mean, seriously, I was like, I purchased it on the website and I was on the wait list. I pre-ordered it basically. And the way Lego does it is, all the pre-orders are mailed out and arrive on the day of the street date. So, I mean, the street date comes, I'm not waiting for the UPS dude to get there. And I'm like, I'm jumping up and down. And I mean, I seriously, I was like, I cleared off my entire table and that's all I did. I just looked at it for like 20 minutes. Like
specialized sets, or is this one of like the normal, like, how they got like Lego Town?
No, this was a creator ideas.
Okay.
And so it was more.
Never dabbled in those at all.
Yeah, and I mean, seriously, I think the creator ideas and the architecture are my favorite series. So there's this shelf upstairs that has all my little, Lego architectures all set up and everything. And every time that we have my parents come up or whatever, and we have a party here or whatnot, my dad goes over and is like, so which one's new? He's like looking at my Legos.
Awesome. When we're done with the show, I'll send you a picture of the sets that I have. They're in the closet sitting behind me, actually, but I don't have the fancy superstar sets like you do. I just like to buy the little town ones, They had a postcard stuff a while back. Oh, a couple, I guess maybe about 10 years ago, something around there. They had all those cool Halloween sets. Do you remember those?
Oh, like, yes.
Ghost Train. There was a hearse. There was Frankenstein's Laboratory. All kinds of cool shit. And I've got, I had almost the whole set.
Oh man, the one I bitterly regret not getting was Ecto 1 from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I wanted that one, but
I wanted that one so bad.
I want the fancy ass one. I like the little guys are still scaled to. I don't want to get like the huge things where the little guys, don't fit. If that makes sense.
Yeah. They have some really, really ornate ones. I mean, they've had two different versions of the Taj Mahal. And of course, you saw the Millennium Falcon and Imperial Cruiser from the Star Wars collection, right? And I mean, they get intense.
Yeah, I wanted the Millennium Falcon. I guess I got back into the whole Lego thing, I guess, when I was around 20 years old, and I was married at the time. And so I really didn't have a lot of options to do for entertainment, because it was like being in prison. So I had the Star Wars franchise had just started picking up momentum again, and I think they'd already released the first prequel, and then they re-released all the old Star Wars shit. So I was at the store buying like the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter and just geeking out at home and building shit. So the second I would start doing shit like that, my ex-wife wouldn't bother me. So it was perfect. It was a win-win. That's how I got back into the whole Lego thing. And then they came out with those. Did you see the Arctic Explorer sets? Not too long ago? Those were really cool too. And
those were really neat.
Again, for I can't believe we're fucking talking about Legos.
I know, but it's a passion of mine. I'm just like I'm a Lego chick.
They are so much fun. I get so much satisfaction of just building a Lego set.
It's like Zen for me. It really is.
Exactly.
It really is. So, and speaking of Zen, one of the things that I wanted to discuss tonight, I don't know if you recall, but one of the most famous composers of our time passed away last week. So, and it was kind of eye-opening, because a lot of people just recognized him from like one musical score, one soundtrack that he did. And I'm going, dude wrote soundtracks for like 50, 60 years.
Well, passed away.
Ennio Morricone, right? I'm going, and he's on for one soundtrack, really?
So, suspense. I didn't hear any news of a composer passing. Who was it?
Ennio Morricone. He and a lot of people are like, the one soundtrack that they know he did was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So but he did so many, and his career spanned for decades. And one of the reasons that I consider him the composer's composer is that he did not have a specific style. He adapted everything to what he saw developing on the film, and that's how he would compose. You hear a piece by John Williams and it's John Williams.
John Williams.
Right?
Exactly.
John Williams has a specific style. Rhoda has a specific style. Conti had a specific style, but Morricone had
Elfman,
all the styles.
Bernstein, all those guys.
Yeah, and Morricone had all of the styles. I mean, he could do anything. He just adapted. He brought the film to life. It was incredible. So that's one of the reasons he was my favorite. So when I see, I think it was Washington Post or some newspaper outlet or whatever saying, famous composer of spaghetti westerns died at 91, and I'm going, spaghetti westerns? He did a lot more than that.
That was his whole obituary.
I was offended.
Oh my God. Hey, I don't even think we can even say spaghetti western anymore. Is that on the list?
I think that's on the cutting. I think it's on the chopping block. Yeah, I think so. I was actually driving today, and I was I scored a piece of furniture that I had been buying, so I was like quite happy. But I was driving today, and I come across a street called Seneca, and I'm going, well, that has to go.
Oof.
And it was like I come home and I'm telling my sister, that about the piece, and I made the joke about Seneca having to go, and she's like, why? And I'm like, don't you know who Seneca was? She had no clue. And I'm like, I just cried. So.
I've been doing a lot of weeping for our young people.
I do. Well, she's not that young. She's just a year and a half younger than I am, but still. She's anyway. So
back to compose. I didn't know him by name. I'm familiar with the good, the bad, and the ugly and the musical score. What else did he do? Did he have anything as big or anything as recognizable?
Oh my goodness, there were so many. He did dramas. He did love stories. He I don't know. Did you ever see a movie called Mission to Mars? With it was with Tim Robbins and Gary Sinise.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He did the musical score to that, and really, that's one of my favorite musical scores of all time.
Mission to Mars.
Mission to Mars. It was so beautifully done. You could close your eyes and you can imagine yourself taking that space voyage, and just. It was really well done. It was incredible. I could go on and on about it, but I better not.
I'll check it out and I'll watch it because I think I know what you're talking about. He didn't really, I guess the good and the bad and the ugly would be a hit,
Yeah.
Like several other songs.
He did, Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More. He did also that one. He did.
But these are all movies that you're like, oh, that one song? You don't know that one.
Yeah, exactly. There's always one thing that stands out. But he did so many different genres that his style of for me it was just incredible how adaptable he really was.
So in that retrospect, in what I was trying to say about, you always have that one hit like the good and the bad and the ugly, and he didn't necessarily have all of those. But what you had mentioned earlier, how he kind of paints the movie scenery with the music, that's probably why it doesn't really stick out. However, if you're not paying attention to it emotionally, I suppose, or in some kind of classical sense, then you're really not picking up what he's putting down. And maybe it's just so seamless that they're one and the same when you're watching it.
This was I remember watching, I don't know if you're familiar with this film. It came out I want to say late 80s, early 90s. I don't remember, but The Mission, which was about establishing a mission, a Franciscan monks establishing a mission. He did the score for that. And I couldn't tell you what the story was, but I could tell you every single note of that score. It was that memorable. It was so good. It's just, he's done, he's done so much.
You were a music major, weren't you?
No, I was an anthropology major.
I thought you had some kind of musical background from college, though.
Nope.
Nothing at all?
No, it's just what I have picked up, just.
Are you a musician?
I used to play viola.
Nice.
I'm guessing you played the clarinet, but I'm not sure.
Only in the bathroom. Actually, I played the clarinet in grade school, and then in junior high, I taught myself bassoon because the band teacher needed a bassoonist, and so I just picked up those lesson books and figured it all out. And then in high school, I turned the bassoon into paraphernalia, and my band teacher wasn't too thrilled for that, and that was cool because I had already lost interest anyway. And that was my musical career. And then when I was in my 20s, I picked up a guitar and self-taught some tablature. Never went too far with that, but it was something to pass some time with. But I've always kind of favored music anyway. And I think that's a good segue into what our actual topic is this evening.
Yes.
We're doing kind of like a top 5 list of musical soundtracks and a top 5 list of musical scores, and we're going to be comparing them. That was your idea, and I think that's a fabulous idea.
Yep. I think it worked for the top, when we did the top 10 videos of the 80s. I thought that was kind of fun.
That was one of my most favorite episodes that we've done together. Good, but that just the interaction with the list that we came up with was super fun, and coming up with the list was super fun. Let me ask you a question. I had a harder time coming up with the top 5 soundtracks than I did coming up with the top 5 scores. Did you have the same?
It was the same thing for me because, as far as soundtracks go, I mean, it's just, there were so many that put out, that were played over and over on radio stations, that were released as singles, and all that stuff. So you were completely flooded with it. Whereas, a musical score, you don't hear that much on a radio station growing up. I think the only major music score that I recall being played on the radio a lot was Chariots of Fire.
Oh yeah, that was.
You remember that, right? And so there are not that many that make it to like top 20 and top 10 on a radio station. So, but
that was actually being played on like your top 40 and top 20 pop stations. Pop music. If you have a musical score, or I guess a composition, a piece, whatever the correct terminology is. I know I'm screwing it up, but that's kind of a big deal for that to be on pop radio.
It is. It does, because it makes an impact. A lot of people are like, oh, wow, they actually appreciate the music that was made to translate a film as opposed to a song that was put in a film to fit a narrative. So,
what list do you want to go through first?
Let's go through scores.
Okay, I think that's appropriate. Let's do that. What did you rank yours in order?
I did.
Okay, I did too. Why don't you hit us with your number 5 musical score?
My number 5 is by composer Nino Rota, and it is the soundtrack, the musical score to the film The Godfather.
Ooh, I have a feeling your list is going to be a lot smarter than my list.
No, I picked them in.
These are going to be yin and yang, I guarantee it.
Probably.
Number 3 is Porky's. I'm just kidding. It's not Porky's. That would be fucking great, though.
That'd be awesome.
Next time I'm picking Porky's. I don't care what the question is. The answer is Porky's. So anyway, back to The Godfather. That's a fantastic musical score, by the way. I cannot believe that didn't even cross my mind.
No, that's one of my top favorites of all time. And I even have honorable mentions for both categories, just in case too, because there were so many that I had. But yeah, I've always loved I think my dad had Godfather on 8-track, vinyl, cassette. He still has it on CD.
Wow. You would think you guys were Italian.
No, he just loved it.
That's one of my superpowers. Did you like that?
Yes, very good, very good.
That's a fantastic piece. Kudos to that. Where's the composer from?
I want to say he was Italian, yeah. But the name like Nino Rota, I'm pretty sure he was Italian.
They kept the entire production in the family, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow. So I already feel like I underdressed for this part, but my number 5, I picked a composer who's very well known for his actual era, and I picked Elmer Bernstein.
Nice.
And I went with The Great Escape.
Ooh, that is a great musical score. That's kudos. That's a good one.
He had so many movies. Like, you could have thrown a rock and hit 5 different movies that he composed for during that era. And he was good at what he did. And that the score is fantastic. It's powerful. It's almost, I guess, passionate. You know, when you hear that music and you're watching that movie, you feel connected to the movie, and you have that sense of patriotism, and yeah, you want to beat the shit out of the Nazis and the good guys win and all that good shit. Bernstein encapsulated that along with an amazing cast and an amazing movie. So that was just my off the top number 5.
I have to say, that movie, I can't start watching that movie without bursting into tears. And then I get over, and once I get over my crying fit, then I can watch the movie, and then I'll cry throughout the movie. But before I even watch that movie, I start crying.
Oh,
I'm a softie. What can I tell you?
I love that about you. When we get off the show, remind me offline to tell you a little anecdote of something that Steve McQueen and I have in common. It'll blow your mind.
Wow. Okay.
Without further ado, what is your number 4, Miss Aggie?
My number 4, and people will argue with me on this one. They may think it should be higher, but my number 4 is Star Wars by John Williams. That is an iconic soundtrack. I mean,
it really is
recognized throughout the world. It is, it brought him, I think, his first or second Academy Award. Out of, I don't know, he's got 2,200 Academy Awards by now. I have no idea. I stopped counting after 10, but
the entire soundtrack is amazing. I mean,
it is.
From the actual theme to like the Cantina Band to the song when Luke is looking at the 2 moons rising over Tatooine.
Yes, and it was just it was an impressive body of work, because every single piece in there translates to. I mean, you can feel the what's going on in the film. You can feel it go through you. It was really extremely well done. And I know a lot of people would rank it a lot higher, but there's a reason why I rank it at number 4.
Sure, it's almost become a cliche to soundtracks as well. So it's got that working against it as much as it is successful.
Yes, that is true.
My number 4, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I went with this because it's almost similar to my number 5, but I felt obligated to give it a mention because it was just such a big song that everybody knows, even though if they've seen the movie or not. And that would be Malcolm Arnold with Bridge on the River Kwai.
Another tearjerker.
This song has, I mean, the main song, the Colonel Bogey March, has so many pop culture references. It's not even funny. I mean, it goes all the way to the Breakfast Club.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it was funny because I remember when Breakfast Club first came out, you know, went to theaters to watch it and everything. And then I hear it and I started tearing up, and I was with a bunch of friends. They were like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, you just don't understand. You don't get it because you don't get the reference.
Please
they didn't know.
Please tell me that you tear up when you watch Kelly's Heroes too.
I do.
Oh, I love you.
I do.
Mike, that should have been a score with Mike Kerb in the Congregation.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so wait, all right. It's your number 3 now.
Okay, number 3 it's out of left field, but also iconic because it is so well known, and it is used in so many different ways. I'm going with Rocky.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's totally iconic.
I mean, everybody, you know, everybody knows it. They use it for everything.
Everything.
You know, even ads for, you know, tourism in Philadelphia still use it to this day. I mean, they don't get tired of it.
Well, you know, it deserves its place in that list for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're all thinking about the Rocky movies right now.
I'm like.
And then of course, it's in my head that.
Of course.
All right, we got a little distracted. My number 3 is Back to the Future. Alan Silvestri.
Very, very good. Very, very, very good pick. I have to say. Very good.
I mean, not to mention, Back to the Future was probably one of the coolest fucking movies to come out of the 80s. When you watch that as a kid in the 80s, you're like, holy shit. Time travel and DeLorean. I mean, Marty McFly was the coolest dude in the world.
Well, that movie actually reestablished the Hollywood blockbuster all on its own. I mean, it was a completely different concept. It was original.
You know, I just remember when number 2 came out, the hype that went on just from the first one really floated number 2, even though it kind of sucked. But really, the soundtrack in Back to the Future, you were watching so much cool shit. You were watching the DeLorean's time travel. You're watching Marty play friggin' Johnny B. Good on the guitar. That was so cool. But then Alan Silvestri with the theme song and then the rest of the score during all of the action scenes, or, you know, the suspenseful stuff, it just made it that much cooler. And that's why that Back to the Future and Alan Silvestri is my number 3 musical score.
It's a good choice. It really is. It's one of my most enjoyable. I think I still have it on cassette.
That's awesome.
All right. So my number 2 is actually a tie. And normally, you know, a tie means that you don't have a number 1 or you don't have a number 3, but this is my rule, so I can have a tie for number 2.
You can do whatever you want.
That's right, I can. So I cannot.
Maggie, no boss.
I cannot diss my pal Orty. Number 2 is a tie between the soundtrack to Jurassic Park.
Oof.
And totally different league is the soundtrack to a movie called The Sting, which was Robert Redford, Paul Newman. So they're completely different. But Jurassic Park was so, and I always have a problem pronouncing this word, ethereal. That's the way you pronounce it. I'm not sure. I've been drinking, so forgive me. But it's
to pick up the buzz too, so you're in company.
Okay, good. So for me, Jurassic Park was very not. I don't want to say otherworldly because it was just other, eon. For me, you really got transported back in time, seeing, and when you see these majestic creatures come to life and you hear the music that's attached to them, you actually can imagine the soundtrack to their life right there. So
I can't lie. When I saw Jurassic Park in the theater, and I'm not even going to tell you how old I am or was, it blew my fucking mind. It was like, I've never seen anything like this. It sent my, I was, post-pubescent, I guess, but still a dork. And it sent me spiraling into this huge dinosaur craze. Mm-hmm. I read all the Michael Crichton books after that. It was just something that I'd never seen. It hit me on so many levels, and I'm like, this is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen. I probably went and saw that movie like 6 times in the theater. And it was just good.
It really was. It was, and it was also eye-opening because the whole paradigm shift, and Malcolm, saying just because you could doesn't mean you should. That kind of those little moral parables were in every single scene. It was really, really cool.
That's kind of a lesson that we probably need to hold that truer to our hearts more than ever with all of the crazy shit going on with the world now, just that scientific God complex that they're always talking about. But the soundtrack to Jurassic Park, it wasn't groundbreaking, but it was so perfect for the movie, in my opinion. And it carried on perfectly with every scene.
I think so. It gave me chills at the appropriate times. It soothed me at other times. It was so beautifully done. And like I said, and then on the other, like I said, since I have a tie, The Sting brought forth a whole resurgence of ragtime.
And ice cream
came out, huh?
And ice cream trucks. Yeah. Every single ice cream truck in the 80s either played Cucaracha or The Sting.
The Sting.
One or the other.
I think the one down here still does.
That is awesome.
I have to catch it next time. But
that was such a, and the ragtime thing was cool. It made it cool again. Because honestly, those two dudes are so cool. They've always been cool.
It was really, I love that movie. I think it's my father's favorite movie, which is why I was so enamored of the soundtrack. He would play it all the time. He still has that soundtrack in every available format ever put out. Seriously.
It's fantastic.
So anyway, and what is your number 2?
My number 2, I went with Hans Zimmer, who was such a heavy-hitting composer. And he's got so many great scores. But the one that I think the one that hits my soul the most, let's go with that, was the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, that was a good one.
He had one particular song in that, the score, the Chevaliers de Sangreal. I'm sure I slaughtered that. And it was played by the Prague Philharmonic, I believe, in the movie. Just an amazing piece. Amazing.
It was, and it's very memorable, and it's so. It was almost distracting for me. I was so caught up in the music that I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in the movie.
I remember more of the soundtrack than I remember the movie.
Yes, same here. I'm the same way, and that can be kind of a bad thing for the film itself, but
yeah, Well, Hans Zimmer definitely. It's hard to step on Tom Hanks's toes. Hans Zimmer definitely did, and he overpowered the scenes with his music. I mean, that was just, you got lost in the music and not the movie.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, I don't know who was doing Tom Hanks's hair for that film, but they totally failed. I mean, a mullet, really? I'm just like, what the hell?
All right, I'm going to go back and watch it.
No, he's got a mullet, dude. I'm serious.
I got to send you a picture of my mullet wig.
Oh.
I think I'm just going to start wearing it. Fuck it.
Yes, with your cowboy hat.
So let's do our number ones and then let's go to break. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay. Aggie, tell me, what is your number one?
Well, there's no surprise on my number one. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That to me is the ultimate of iconic.
Wait, did you do that as your like 4?
Huh?
Did you already do that one?
No. We talked about it because we were talking about.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
the beer's like catching up to me, and I was confused for a second. Okay, I got it. So yeah, okay. Please go on.
So for me, the soundtrack for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I mean, it is so well known that kids who have never even heard of the movie, never heard of what a spaghetti western is, never heard of what a western is, know this theme. So, it is so well known. And it's used in almost everything. There's so many cultural references. It just, to me, that is the zenith of all.
I had mentioned that on the Colonel Bogey March from the bridge on the River Kwai, but it's not to the extent of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That hit everything, and it's still snowballing from generation to generation, even though they don't know what it is. Yeah,
and it's true because I'll be honest. I knew that song before I had even seen the movie. I knew it. I used to hum it with my cousins playing ball out in my grandmother's yard or whatever. I had no idea where it came from. But we all knew that theme.
Absolutely.
We all did it. And when I was 12, I got to see the movie for the first time. I didn't understand what was going on, but my dad was watching it, and I hear it. I was like, "That's the song." And my dad's like, "What are you talking about?" That's the song. That's the song we sing all the time. And he says, "Yes, it's very famous."
We should play out with that.
Okie dokie.
That would be a nice tribute. My number one, a couple of lesser known gentlemen, and I don't know anything about them at all, and I had to do some research this afternoon when I picked this one, but gentlemen by the name of Trevor Jones and Randy Idleman. And my number one is Last of the Mohicans.
Dude, I have that soundtrack in vinyl, cassette, CD. I am not lying. That is one of my favorites ever.
When can you name a soundtrack that every person in the hemisphere in the 90s listened to every single night when they went to bed? Every household had this on CD and would play this as background music at night or during dinner parties. The entire score is moving.
It really is. I think my favorite one is when I can't think of but it's basically the guitar that starts playing as the
was it when they were attacking the fort going through the little river thing, and it's kind of almost like not quite a banjo, something similar,
something like that. I think they were sending out the messenger.
Yeah.
And and they were shooting all the Indians as they were coming to attack the messenger, and that part that it wasn't a banjo. I want to say it was a guitar, and it just, to me, that whole piece right there. I think I wore out my cassette tape twice. I've replaced it 3 times. Until I moved up to CD.
The entire damn score was fantastic.
It really was. It was so romantic. I mean, seriously, the whole thing was, for me, the true definition of romance. That whole grandiose, epic.
I mean, yeah, and then it had the well-to-do society girls falling in love with the quote-unquote bad boys.
Oh yeah.
It was the love story, and the stereotypical love story, and the soundtrack. That totally explains why my mom owned it.
It should explain why I still own it.
Exactly, right.
I remember when he was actually filming, Daniel Day-Lewis was actually filming Last of the Mohicans when he won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his portrayal of what's his name? Clancy, not Brown, Clancy. I forget the name of the writer, but the movie was called My Left Foot. And when he went up there to accept the Academy Award, his hair was long because he had to grow it out for the film, right? Mm-hmm. And he's there and he's wearing this tuxedo, and you could the camera pans when he's giving his speech to the audience, and you see the women just looking at him like he is ice cream and it is 95 degrees outside. I mean, their eyes were just like, he is so beautiful, and he really was.
Between him and Yanni, there wasn't a middle-aged woman in the mid-90s that didn't own both of those CDs.
This is so true. My goodness.
What it was about the long hair and the mustaches.
I don't know. I think it was... I love Daniel Day-Lewis, personally speaking, because the guy... Acting is his second gig. It's not even his first love. He just does it to like pay bills or something, but he's very good at it, and he immerses himself in the role. But once he's done, he packs up, goes back home, and makes shoes. I mean, I have to admire somebody like that.
Cobbler?
So. Yes, he's a cobbler. He loves to make shoes.
I can't even go down that rabbit hole right now. Why don't we go on break? And when we come back, we have got our top 5 musical soundtracks. And then we're going to get nasty and talk about obnoxious cocktails.
I see what you did there.
Crescendo? You like that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, let's do it.
And we'll be right.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, $10,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
And we are back. We just remember that we didn't do our soundtracks.
It's good to be back. So, do you have any cocktails on the line tonight?
Yes, I do. And I may need to go to confession after talking about these, but whatever. Confession is still closed. We still have to do that by
cocktail that you're currently consuming.
Oh, what I'm consuming.
we don't have to go down that road just yet, but it's coming.
I'm just having wine tonight.
I was like, is it canned wine?
No.
Why not? It was so delicious last week.
You just reminded me. I still have a bottle of that. Well, a can of that wine in the refrigerator.
Bonus.
No. You. Okay.
I'm currently drinking a Bud Light, as true to Mickey Blowtorch, but I've got a White Claw on standby for when we get into the cocktail section of our second half.
How fratty of you.
Well, I'm a dude, bro. What can I?
Dude, bro.
I think we did a good job on our musical scores. We should ask somebody that's musical scholar or whatnot to see what they would have picked. I'm kind of interested to know.
Yeah, I would. Did you want to do the soundtrack real quick?
Let's do them. Let's just go through them. This was the hardest part for me because, quite frankly, I was just trying to pick movies that had a collection of songs that either got me into a certain genre or a genre that I already liked that was just there.
I know you're going to pick one that I hate. I just know it. I know.
Sure. Let's start off with you and your number 5.
Number 5 is actually a tie, believe it or not.
Oh, another tie. How can be?
I love ties. Ties look good on a guy.
Yes, you.
Number 5 for me is a tie with Breakfast Club and 16 Candles.
I almost went to John Hughes. Almost. I was thinking about it, and like, no, I got to be edgier than John Hughes. It's a great choice. What's your favorite song from each one?
Well, obviously, Don't You Forget About Me.
Of course.
Is my top from, and I really can't pick one from 16 Candles. I mean, I could go with the title song, obviously, but I mean, I like them all pretty much the same.
But doesn't each one of those, every single one of those John Hughes soundtracks have an Orchestrated Maneuvers in the Dark song?
Somewhere. Yes.
Everyone. Every time I hear that, all I think is John Hughes.
Pretty in Pink, especially. All right, so what's your number 5?
My number 5, I went with Pulp Fiction.
Nice. That's a good soundtrack.
Oh, I guess it came out, I was still a teenager when Pulp Fiction came out. So this really led me down a rabbit hole of some badass music. The one thing about Tarantino films is he picks the most off-the-wall shit that's obscure, and it's so good. I mean, I learned of, well, first of all, like all of the surf music he does, like Missouri, the title song from that movie, just so awesome. It blew my mind, honestly, as a teenager.
Okay. That is a good soundtrack. I gotta admit. I think I have it upstairs still. So for me, number 4, you were probably in diapers when this movie came out, but Purple Rain.
That's a good one. You know, I haven't thought of that movie in years.
Because you were in diapers when it came out.
You're probably babysitting me while you were listening to it.
Probably. Oh my God. That's
Both.
another 3 gray hairs.
That, you know, everything Prince does is just so damn good.
And, you know, he really was an incredible musician and composer, producer, everything. He did everything. So
it was incredible. He kind of, him and Dave Grohl remind me of each other.
Yeah, they were good foils. You're right.
And they're both so multifaceted, incredible people.
I think so. That is a very good comparison. I see reflections of both in them.
Absolutely. Yeah. My number 4, I went down an 80s road as well, and it just had a little bit of 80s, more of an 80s edge that kind of relates to me. I went with Grosse Pointe Blank.
Oh yeah. That's a good
Fantastic soundtrack. Anything from the Violent Femmes to David Bowie to the Specials. I mean, come on. How could you not love this entire Guns N' Roses? It had, like, all of the food groups were there.
It was a great movie. It really was. So underrated.
Funny
and the soundtrack was great.
I went home for the first time after I got out of the military. I guess I'd been estranged from my home, which was similar to Grosse Pointe, Michigan. It was a place in northwest Montana. I went home 16 years after I had been there last. And I'd already had my military career, just like Martin Blank and all of that. And it was just so reminiscent of the parallels of familiarity with the movie and what I was going through from being home and all that angst associated with being home for the first time in 16 years.
That's so cool.
It was crazy.
That's awesome, though. It's kind of like you're living the movie.
I felt exactly that. And then, like, I remember, like, friends would ask me, like, "What do you do now, man?" I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm blah 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 blah." And they're like, "Nah, you're still working for the government, aren't you?"
Wow.
Same kind of shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Grosse Pointe Blank. What have you got rocking on number 3?
I actually, I really dig the soundtrack. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, shit. Yes.
Is it not awesome? Because it's just all of those early 80s stuff, you know, so
everything.
Late 70s or 80s.
Rubber Band Man. You've got the Escape song, that Rupert Holmes Pina Colada. So many good songs. Holy shit. Wow, I'm a little jealous of that pick.
Yeah, I have Volume 1 and Volume 2. It's in Volume 2 for the second movie, so that was pretty cool, too.
Rubber Band Man is one of my most favorite songs. I listen to that in my Jeep with the windows down, full blast. I don't give a shit.
What's your number 3?
My number 3, okay, I had to be a dick and throw in a Disney, because you can't have a soundtrack without a Disney movie, right?
Okay.
I got Disney's Robin Hood.
Oh my God. Robin Hood.
My most favorite Disney movie as a kid. All of those songs are just so fun to sing along with. And you remember them in your adult years.
That is one of the things that Disney does very well. They actually have music to their films that become not only big hits, you know, on the radio or whatever, but they also are songs that kids can easily translate for themselves. They can memorize them quickly. They can identify with. And the only reason that I have absolutely no Disney soundtrack, well, actually I had 2 reasons why I have no Disney soundtracks. One, I used to work for the company. I had to memorize every single fucking song, and I just cannot deal with that anymore. And 2, I couldn't just pick one. There were so many, you know. But I mean, Howard Ashman and was probably the best snag that Disney ever did for their for their music. And when he died, it was just tragic. But I mean, he's the one that did Beauty and the Beast and what's her name, the redheaded tart, Little Mermaid.
Oh my God! What the fuck?
Okay, I have opinions on Little Mermaid. Okay, I have big opinions.
Mermaid. Wow. You know what? I think we need to have a couch session and on another episode.
That's another episode. Another episode.
Oh, and
goes down dark on Disney.
Holy shit, Aggie! That little tart. I got a super funny Navy song that's reminiscent of my days doing classified shit, but I could probably translate it when we do our Little Mermaid show. That's very relevant.
Awesome.
Wow, I don't even know what to say. Okay, let's move on. What's your number 2, Maggie?
Number two is very near and dear to my heart because I'm a very big Paul Simon fan. So I have to say The Graduate. That is an iconic soundtrack. I mean, you got, Mrs. Robinson out of that. I mean, there's so many songs that came out of that.
Wait, were they actually on the soundtrack?
Huh?
Were they on the soundtrack, or were they inspired by the movie to make that song? I can't remember.
No, they did the soundtrack for the film. Those were the songs for the film. Yeah.
I'm very near to Anne Bancroft's boobies.
Anne Bancroft.
Holy shit! What a
uber hot, and she was the original cougar, which I always found funny that she's wearing this cheetah outfit in the whole in part of the movie, and I'm going, she's a cougar, but she's wearing cheetah. You can tell I've been drinking because I'm analyzing Anne Bancroft.
Next episode, I'm talking Aggie into getting some Four Loko, so we're gonna do that.
No.
So, okay, Mrs. Robinson, Cuckoo Cuckoo. My number 2, I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but that kind of funny. My number 2, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Nice. Yes, that's a great soundtrack. Now I have to say both the first one and the second one.
Yeah, I agree. The first one more so, in my opinion. The first one, remember that little playful attitude that the 80s had?
Yes.
That particular era of the 80s. It was like the Patti LaBelle and all of that shit, the Pointer Sisters. They just had like this tension, this attitude that was really cool for the 80s. And it was almost, you could say, iconic for the 80s itself. And of course, the Axel F theme song.
Yep.
Was so bad at it was like the selling point for the album. But then you listen to the rest of the album and you're listening to New Attitude, you're listening to Neutron Dance, The Heat Is On. It was awesome. All of it really just grabbed you by the 80s balls, and it
really did. And that's another example of an instrumental that went big from a movie and on the Billboard. So
Miami Vice was another one, but I think Axel F probably trumps them all. The biggest fucking Axel F is the big dick soundtrack.
Yes.
For the score that went, that even puts Chariots of Fire in its place. It's like, I'm fucking Axel F. Fuck up.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So, what do you have for number 1?
You're probably gonna make fun of me for my number 1.
I hope so.
I picked the soundtrack to Valley Girl.
Nice. That was a great era.
It introduced a bunch of very small, musical groups that really didn't make it all that big, but that were very, very good. Josie Miller being one, the Plimsolls, Psychedelic Furs were actually in it, and that was before they got big.
So let me ask you this. I guess you're gonna have to refresh my memory. Was this movie focused around chick rock?
No. This one was Valley Girl was basically a take on Romeo and Juliet, but that had a happily ever after. As opposed to dying at the end.
Is Nicolas Cage in this?
Yes. This was his first big role. And Deborah, what's her name? I keep forgetting her name. But she was the Valley Girl. He was a Hollywood rocker. And they kind of saw each other at the beach. And they were, of course, in bathing suits and everything. So she didn't see that he was this punk rock dude. And he didn't see that she was this Valley Girl chick, and so it was really cute. And to this day, I just love that soundtrack, and it just transports me back to being a teen and having, wearing bobby socks and learning all the vernacular from Moon Unit Zappa and all that stuff. So,
I was just watching some Zappa stuff a couple of weeks ago in bed. Just some of his live concerts.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A lot of weird energy. Reminds me of like George Clinton, and he's serious but not so serious. It's really weird. It's hard to get a vibe off of Zappa, but it's fucking cool.
Very neat. So what's your number one?
So my number one, I think that this soundtrack is incredible. It's kind of like the end-all, be-all. It encompasses everything from the 50s right up to 1980, and that's Forrest Gump.
Oh, that's such a beautiful soundtrack. It has everything. You're right. It has everything.
It's got your poodle skirt wearing 50s stuff. It's got your gritty 60s. It's got your drug-soaked 70s moving up into your we're starting to get motivated 80s. It's incredible. It really is. And I almost wanted to mention it on the scores because the score was fantastic too. But the soundtrack was amazing. And I was just looking through some of the songs that we have on it. Buffalo Springfield, Aretha Franklin, the Four Tops, incredible. And I think we may have lost Aggie, so let's go to a quick break and figure out what's going on. I am here. Are we good to go?
I think so. My internet dropped. Hi, guys. Sorry about that. My internet just decided to cut out.
You probably need to get that blessed.
I need to pay my bill.
Yeah.
So where were we? Where were we before I got cut off?
Well, I actually was in reciting pages of your diary that I had downloaded previously, just in case that had happened. And
I'm so sorry you guys were so bored.
My God, we barely made it through your sophomore year in college. Holy shit.
Oh, please.
Well, we're glad that you're back. Modern technology is a bit of a bitch sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
We're already buzzing. Let's just get fucking crazy. I'm going to open up a White Claw right now.
Oh, yeah, you.
And then we can get into the last section of our show this evening where we're going to talk about obnoxious cocktail names. Now I'm going to this. I'm drinking
The ones I found were pretty interesting, I'll say.
I can't wait to see the ones that you picked out. So I guess this kind of came out about Aggie and I in a contest to see who can embarrass Aggie and I the most, which of course I'm going to fucking win because I'm Mickey.
You're going to win. You're totally going to win.
It's just the work. So without further ado, we're going to go over obnoxious drinks, mainly their names. And I'm thinking we're going to develop a game out of this later on down the road. And I'll introduce that when we're done talking about all these drinks. So Aggie, why don't you show us one of your first pick for the most obnoxious drink name you could find?
Let's see. I pick Angel's Tit.
I saw that one. That was a nice little cherry. Tell us what's in it.
You have creme de cacao, you have maraschino liqueur, and you have heavy cream. And you basically layer all these in a small glass, like a quarter glass or a shot glass, and you refrigerate it, and then you add a cherry, and then you just down that. So that's the Angel's Tit.
So I've already totally fucked up, and I didn't download the directions. I just downloaded the ingredients. And I didn't even download. I just copied and pasted. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So
What's yours?
my number one, and it might be my favorite, I don't know, but it's called a Bend Over Shirley. I just love that name so much.
Bend over.
Let me get a Bend Over Shirley. And it's apparently 1.5 ounces of raspberry vodka, 4 ounces of Sprite, and 3/4 ounce of grenadine. That's friggin' insane. That's a lot of syrup. Oh my god.
That's a lot of sweet.
That's a Bend Over Shirley. Love that fucking name.
That's a great one. I liked Silk Panties.
Mm.
That one was a good one.
I had to swallow the White Claw.
How was it?
Why don't you tell us what's in your silk panties?
As you recover. Okay. And silk panties is a very simple drink to make. You do 2 parts of vodka, 1 part peach schnapps, and 2 dashes of bitters. And some people use orange bitters, some people use Angostura, others use peach, some use, strawberry, I don't know. Berry bitters.
I think peach silk panties would probably be the best.
I think so too. So, but it doesn't beat my next entry. But you go ahead with yours.
Okay. My next one is a little drink I like to call Sex on My Face.
I can't with you right now. You have no idea how red I am right now. And it has nothing to do with hot flashes or menopause. Oh, my God.
Oh, let's keep it rolling. So Sex on My Face is composed of 1/2 ounce of banana liqueur, 1/2 ounce of Yukon Jack Canadian whiskey, 1/2 ounce of Malibu coconut rum, 1 splash of cranberry juice, 1 splash of pineapple juice, 1 splash of orange juice, and 1/2 ounce of Southern Comfort peach. What the? Southern Comfort makes it peach liqueur? That sounds absolutely hideous. So that's it. Sex on My Face.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Awful. Awfully awesome. I don't know how to say it. Okay, my next one is the Screaming Orgasm. Yeah, I hear you.
I need to quit taking drinks in between the shit.
That one is 1 vodka, 1 Kahlua, 1 amaretto, 1 Baileys, 1 heavy cream, 1 milk, and You shake it all up in ice, you pour it into a tall glass, and you dust it off with cocoa powder. And that is a screaming orgasm.
So, when you say the word screaming orgasm, I don't necessarily think of like a woman in ecstasy. I think of like maybe a samurai screaming at his enemy. I don't know what. I hear this.
You would.
Something totally unsexy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Actually, I don't want to.
So my number 3 is a simple one, and it's just called ass.
That's a drink?
It is ass. It's 1 ounce of absolute vodka and just a dash of sour apple schnapps. Ass. I'm an ass man. I picked it up. How could I turn it down? I see it there sitting, and I'm like, it's a simple drink. It's a simple name. I'm a simple man. I like ass.
Well, there you go. I am crying.
Wait till we get to my number 2.
My number 2 is it's a standard, and I actually enjoy this one. I've had this one. It's a buttery nipple.
Oh.
And that's actually a shot.
Literally, or just...
The what?
Are we talking literally? Like,
No.
you go get Land Lakes one night, and you're like, hey, honey, check this out.
No, I'm talking just a drink.
You seductively unroll that stick of butter, like peeling it like a banana.
Let me unroll that Land O'Lakes. Oh my God, I've had too much to drink. Okay, so a buttery nipple is very simple. It's a shot drink, so it's half a shot of butterscotch schnapps and half a shot of Bailey's Irish cream liqueur, and then you just knock it back. And some people actually just make a big glass of it.
Who drinks a big glass of buttery nipples? Oh my God. Who? Please tell me you.
I do. What is the point of having a shot drink, just having to do it over and over and over again? Might as well just use a bigger glass.
You're like, let me get a pint of buttery nipple.
Pretty much, yes.
I'm so proud. I'm gonna cry.
What?
All right, so first of all, it's more fun if I tell you how to make it first.
Okay.
So equal parts of amaretto. It's a shot. So equal parts of amaretto and vodka in a shot glass. And then you take a bar straw and you stick it in the half and half and put your thumb on it and take it out so that, the bar straw is full of half and half. And you put it into the shot glass. You take your thumb off of it. And you pull it out slowly. Kind of pulling it from side to side, right? So then you have this white little snake of cream from the bottom to the top of the shot. And it's called Come in the Tub.
Oh, what?
No.
I used to make that all the time when I bartended.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, let me get 5 come in the tubs for me and the boys.
I think Lou wins.
Yeah, Lou's got it. Come in.
I'm sorry. I didn't kind of mean to take over your competition there, but I thought I just thought you would enjoy it.
That's awesome.
And they call it come in the tub.
That is so epic. I can't even.
I'm getting flashbacks to when I was 14.
No.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Aggie. Sorry.
Jesus.
I can't even talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lou, our producer. Woo! Let's give it up. Holy shit. I love when she was talking about the straw.
I know.
She just
I was like, where's she going with the straw? I wonder what she's doing.
Wow. Well, Mr. Mike suck now. What do you got for number 2, Eggs?
Well, actually, that was butter nipple was number 2. I'm down to number 1.
Your glass of buttery nipple. I'll have a pint of buttery nipple, please. Mug if you have it, it's fine.
My number 1.
And you realize that's a shot, right? I haven't done my number 2.
Oh, that's right. You haven't.
Are you ready? My number 2, I'm gonna do it like Lou style. It's 1 ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of orange juice, 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice, 1 splash of triple sec, and then some ginger ale. They call it the golden shower.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Do you know how much you got to pay for this in Amsterdam?
That took me a minute. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Oh, okay.
That'll cost you $40.
There's a kink for everything. That's true.
You know, that's going to be another episode of ours because this week I've run across some very specific kinks that they shouldn't even be kinks because they're so specific. You know what I mean? Like, it's too specific to be a widespread kink, but it's a kink. Totally next episode.
I don't know if I can go through that, but okay.
Moving on to Aggie's number 1.
My number 1 is called the leg spreader.
I saw that one.
Did you see that one?
I was going to go with it. I'm like, meh. That's low-hanging fruit. What's it?
I thought that was like, oh, this is a Mickey drink.
Like half a cup of Jason Momoa.
It's basically
Matthew McConaughey.
It's all alcohol, and it's 1 part tequila, 1 part vodka, 1 part gin, and 1 part rum.
Oof.
I would be like out after 2 sips. There's no way. I mean, that's just too much for me.
Yeah, that sounds more like Pastor Albert.
What's your number 1?
So my number 1, I was looking. I think we were on the same website. And this isn't my favorite. My favorite's the Bend Over Shirley. That name is so fucking great. I switched websites and I was going through like obnoxious random drink names, and then I picked this one just on account of the what the fuck scale. So I found a drink called the Heaven's Gate. Do you remember that weird ass cult in the 90s?
Oh yeah. The Heaven's Gate
wore
cult.
like Nike shoes and dressed in purple things and wore blankets, and they all killed themselves on bunk beds. Weird shit. Why would you even have a drink called the Heaven's Gate? So I saw that and I was intrigued. It didn't have any origins of it, which it should have had. But anyway, it's got coconut rum, spiced rum, orange liqueur, raspberry liqueur, pineapple juice, and lemon lime soda. And that's a Heaven's Gate. I guess you see some fucking UFO or some bullshit if you drink it.
Wow. That sounds... I'm not sure that's appetizing.
No.
That's true.
But I was intrigued.
Yeah, sometimes I do wonder about the...
What? Who would even be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make a drink called the Heaven's Gate. Bug
right?
it.
I mean, that's like calling it Jonestown. I mean, who does that?
The Jonestown's definitely gonna have Kool-Aid.
God. Oh my goodness! And I'm sure that there's some people, and even if we were to make references to Jonestown on Twitter, there would be most of the people would be like, "Why are you talking about Jonestown? What happened there?" I mean, so many people are so far removed from history, they would know.
But this website that I was looking at that had the Heaven's Gate on it, It had the name of the drink. It had a brief history of what it was named after. And then it would have the ingredients. And then it would have a list of who would be offended by it.
Of course.
So that was the main motivation. However, there was no history on any of the drinks. There was a Charles Manson drink, blah, blah, blah. A lot of it was just low-hanging fruit that wasn't funny. I thought the Heaven's Gate was kind of unique, kind of fucking weird. So that was my offering. But the Bend Over Shirley is my number one favorite.
Of course it is.
What was your favorite of all yours?
As far as nomenclature, I have to go with Silk Panties. I like that one. I like, what is it? Now, as far as the ingredients, I'd have to go with Angel's Tip.
What about, would you drink, lose, come in the tub?
I will not confirm or deny this time.
Uh-oh.
Angelica's good.
So, Lou, check this out. My girlfriend gave me this idea after we were going over these drink names. And she wanted Aggie and I to start playing a game called Cocktail or Sexcapade, to where we would name perverted drink names and then sex acts from like UrbanDictionary.com. And Aggie would have to guess if it was a drink or a sex act.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's actually a really good game. That's a really good game. However, I think Aggie will probably smoke that.
You think so? Well, she is Aggie the bartender, after all.
Yeah, right. That's what I meant.
Due diligence on these things, so
yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, if you guys want to do it, I say we do it, and we'll keep a running total. We can do like one at the end of every show, something like that. That'd be kind of fun.
Let's see.
We can tally of like at the end of each month, who's ahead has to do something funny or whatever. We'll make it interesting.
I will get so screwed. I just know it. I'm gonna lose, and I end up being the butt of the joke. I just know it.
Oh, you're gonna love it. My girlfriend's most favorite thing about our show is the dynamic that we have together, and how I always bring you out of your comfort zone.
Every single fucking episode, Mickey.
From the very beginning. That's what I love about it the most. That's what makes it so much fun. I love it.
Oh my goodness. You have no idea. I was looking up these drinks. I was going, who names this shit? My God, why?
Hey, let me get a bend over Shirley and one sexy face. Oh, and ass.
Oh my God. What a way to end the show.
How would you rate your golden shower?
Stop!
Are you a little heavy on the triple sec? I don't know.
Triple sex, maybe.
I'm so glad I marked these shows explicit.
It is always explicit.
Now on.
Always. Well, that was a whole lot of fun tonight.
It sure was.
White Claw hard seltzer, black cherry. I'm trying to talk Aggie into drinking Four Locos with me on our next episode. So if you guys
consider it, I will consider it.
Loco, let us know on Twitter.
All right, and so we're coming to the end of the show. So where can we find you, Mickey?
You can find me on the only social media platform that Mickey Blowtorch will show his face, and that is fucking Twitter. I'm over there being awesome. You can find me at Mickey Blowtorch.
And you can find me at Aggie Rican or at Aggie the Bar Babe. That's my backup account in case Twitter decides to suspend me again. You can find Mickey and me every other Tuesday here at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can find me on alternate Tuesdays here at 9 p.m. Eastern with the Pod Divided. And you can find me and our producer Lou, along with Head in a Jar, on Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Chick Chat. So, and with that, we bid you a good night. Say good night, Mickey.
Good night, world, from coast to coast. And thank you so much, Lou, for being a wonderful producer. We love you. Good night, everyone.